All right. Here we go. Hopefully everything is working. We are live. Now we got some pretty crazy news that could have started a legit disaster in Syria for the United States and Turkey. Now, Turkey is a NATO ally. Turkey is a key strategic partner for the United States. It's probably one of their most trusted partners in the Middle East, if you want to consider Turkey a part of the Middle East. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And so here's what's happening. We had a bit of a mishap. Kind of. I'll let you guys decide. So, an F-16 shot down a Turkish drone in Syria. Now, this is massive. This would be the equivalent of the United States taking down a British drone. You know, like we are legit partners and allies. And if you are watching me live for the first time, if you turn on notifications, or if you're watching this in the video, you'll see the video. So turn on notifications, make sure to like the stream. And so let's go through this because this is still developing, and unfortunate, Turkey's being a little sketchy, but they're also sort of not being sketchy. You'll see what I mean. Okay, first things first, the United States on Thursday shot down an armed Turkish drone, which was operating near its troops in Syria, the Pentagon said. The first time Washington has brought down an aircraft of NATO ally Turkey. Again, not a good thing. So here's what you need to understand, because it's a little confusing for some. Turkey hates the Kurds. Despises them. Now, what you need to understand is that the Kurds, they are a branch of Islam, sort of how you have Baptist, you have Catholics. Think of it like that. Kurdistan is not a recognized territory in the world, or especially by Turkey, but this territory you see here is where this sect of Muslims live. And you can see it sort of goes into Turkey, but it also is on the northern tips of Syria. And what Turkey is known to do is take preemptive strikes on these portions of the Kurds. Unfortunately, this is also where the United States is operating. So you have a weird conflict of interest, but I think it's also important for you to realize that the United States actually considers the Kurds great allies. But a whole nother story, the United States, we sort of did them dirty up in Iraq. That's for another time. But understand, the United States doesn't have an issue with the Kurds. Turkey has an issue with the Kurds. And there's a lot of operations going on in this northern portion of Syria. And thank you for being here. Make sure to like the live. Okay, so here's where things get a little sketchy. A Turkish Defense Ministry official said that the drone was shot down did not belong to the Turkish armed forces. So Turkey's saying, hey, that's not our drone. What are you talking about? This is an ally, by the way, but did not say whose property it was. It's like the kid who sticks his hand in the cookie jar. I didn't do it. It was my sister. What are you talking about? Turkey's National Intelligence Agency carried out strikes in Syria against Kurdish militant targets after an attack in Ankara last weekend, a Turkish security source said on Thursday. I do check the chat all the time. And then we'll get into some more of this and the more details outside of the Syrian space. Pentagon spokesman Brigadier General Pat Ryder said the Turkish drone had been seen carrying out airstrikes Haska, Syria, in that area, which is northern Syria, Thursday morning about 1 kilometer away from U.S. troops, which is really close. A few hours later, a Turkish drone came within less than half of a kilometer, 0.3 miles, so you can look and see what is happening. We don't want that to hit us. That's a Turkish drone. We deemed it a threat, and we shot it down with an F-16. Oofa. We have no indication that Turkey was intentionally targeting the U.S. forces. So let's go ahead and dig into this. Syria, first off, is a vacuum of trouble. Because for all we know, we are saying it's a Turkish drone. Turkey's saying it's not a Turkish drone. That could have been Russia flying a Turkish drone for all we know. Russia is heavily embedded within Syria. And not only that, it's very easy to disguise yourself as a NATO partner, especially Turkey and Russia. They are friends. Regardless of Turkey being in NATO, Turkey does purchase energy and resources from Russia. And so that's why the United States, hey, we got to be careful. We're going to use our F-16s. We're going to use our assets. regardless if you're an ally, you got way too close, and you're dropping the goods on your enemy, not on our enemy, way too close. Something else to consider, and this is where things are kind of weird. Syria buys F-16s from the United States. Oh, sorry, I think my camera. Okay, Syria buys F-16s from the United States. So I think it's ironic that Syria got a drone taken out by an F-16. And by the way, not Syria, Turkey. Turkey will only vote for Sweden to join NATO if the United States gives Turkey F-16s. I'll say that again because it's a little confusing. Turkey will only vote in Sweden, who's supposed to be joining NATO, if the United States gives Turkey F-16s. Imagine how ironic that is, that Turkey says we want F-16s from the United States, and then you get shot down by an F-16 from the United States. I think that's absolutely insane. Now, again, the biggest issue here is that the fact that this even happened shows that there's a lot of room for accidents in Syria. And it shows how NATO, especially Turkey, I'm not saying Turkey will ever turn on NATO, but they've always have acted very sketchy towards NATO and towards the United States. Almost all of NATO supports the Kurds. Not necessarily Kurdistan, but definitely the Kurds. F-18 versus F-16? F-18. I love the F-16, but we got to be honest here. NATO loves the Kurds, especially Finland, especially Sweden. Turkey despises the Kurds. So this has always been and looks like it's going to still be an area of contention for Turkey. Now, beyond like political beliefs and other issues, there's also a religious belief here amongst Muslims and Islam where I don't think a lot of other NATO countries or partners are necessarily going to completely understand, and we could spend an hour even trying to explain the issues between the Kurds, Sunnis, and Shia. Again, whole nother issue. But understand this, Turkey despises the Kurds. Trapper John says, shows that the United States can attack any NATO ally it wants, including Germany or Turkey, with zero consequences. Yes, but if you're just joining, understand this. Again, United States was saying they were within 0.3 miles dropping goods on the enemy, and that was way too close for the United States. Hasaka is in northeastern Syria, mainly Kurdish People's Protection Units, the YPG, who, again, are allies to the United States, is the spearhead of the main ally of the U.S.-led coalition against the bad guys. Can't say that word on YouTube. Starts with the letter I. So again, you have the United States' number one ally, number one fighters against the really bad people in Syria, also in Iraq. And Turkey says, nah, we're going to fight them. You see how there's a massive issue here? This is your partner and ally fighting your number one ally. Someone says, sounds like this is going to deficiate, I can't read that word from here, in the F-16 Swedish NATO deals. Metaphorical coffee is going to be a complicated problem for months to come. I agree with that. T-SPLY has it in for Italy. Well, I'm actually Italian. My mom's from Italy. Both ministers emphasized the importance of close coordination of U.S. and Turkish elements and activities carried out in the region. I wonder if the United States is like talking to the Kurds saying, hey, just so you guys know, Turkey's operating in the area. Make sure you go and hide. U.S.-Turkish relations are in a delicate moment, with the United States hoping Turkey will ratify NATO membership for Sweden, like we had just said. Again, Turkey wants F-16s. Turkey doesn't want Sweden to join NATO, but they're willing to let Sweden join if we get those F-16s. Look, Turkey got those F-16s in the wrong kind of way. While the United States has not shot down a Turkish aircraft before, tensions have flared, and there have been close calls in 2019. U.S. troops in northern Syria came under artillery fire from Turkish positions. So this is not the first time, and it probably won't be the last, especially operating in northeastern Syria. Somebody said, why is Turkey always such a turkey? The chairman of the U.S. Joint Chief of Staff, General Charles Q. Brown, spoke with his Turkish counterpart and discussed the need to follow common deconfliction protocols to ensure the safety of our personnel in Syria. Do you think it's going to happen? I don't. When you see the enemy, you have to attack. Do you really think Turkey is going to phone a friend? Do you really think Turkey is going to call the United States and say, hey, just so you guys know, we're about to attack your closest ally in the region who you're using to fight the enemy, so we're going to take them all out? I don't think so. U.S. allied Syrian Kurdish forces said Turkish attacks had taken out 8 people since the attack in the northern part of Syria. I can't say some of these words, so I apologize. Our only goal is to eliminate the terror organizations that pose a threat to Turkey. A ground operation is one of the options to eliminate this threat, but it's not the only option for us. So it's interesting how Turkey sees the Kurds as a bad organization or a bad guy organization, and the United States sees them as the good guys. So this is always going to be a point of contention for the United States, especially for Kurdistan, the Kurds working in Syria. We're never going to leave Syria. As long as the Russians are in Syria, we will always be fighting in Syria. Somebody said getting that oil. Nah, the main reason why we are in Syria is to not allow the Russians to have as much influence as they have, just as we are in Africa. Somebody said, yeah, so that's what the U.S. is doing in Syria. The main reason why we are in Syria is to put pressure on Russia, but not only that, to fight those bad guys that start with the letter I. Remember those guys who almost recaptured Iraq? That's the main reason why we're there. In fact, funny enough, the Russians and the United States have actually been fighting the same enemy, just not together recently. We're both fighting the bad guy groups, but we're also both mortal enemies. So again, Syria is a hot spot of confusion. I suggest you go do some more research on it if you're interested, and I can do a video on it. But again, it's a very confusing topic, and there's a lot of elements involved: religion, politics, economy, and ports. That Russia needs the ports in Syria to fix their ships. But all right. Thank you guys for being here. I just wanted to report on this breaking news. It's just all coming out now, and I'm sure we'll get some more information on this, but this is a common event that's been happening time and time again with fratricide. Whose enemy? Your enemy is your enemy's friend. Like, it's getting really confusing in Syria, and it's only getting worse and worse, unfortunately. This is a major win for Russia. Russia can use this and be like, look, Turkey, your own friends are taking you out. Even though Turkey is denying that's their drone, it's still an issue. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for being here, and make sure you guys go comment on the posted video so I can read your opinions. All right, see ya. Thank you.